Yo, what is up guys? Nick Nakai here, Let's Drift Media. Thank you guys for coming back to the channel. So today's episode, you guys saw in last week's episode, we got the transmission out. I realized my rear main seal is leaking, so I figured I'll just do a quick little video, show you guys how to replace a rear main seal, because it's pretty much the same on most vehicles. Might be a little bit different process to get to it, but I mean, once you have the trans out, especially on like any rear wheel drive, it's pretty much gonna look like this. So as you guys can see, we got that seal, little rear main seal right here. It's leaking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the seal, and there's a gasket behind this cover plate. Some cars will use a gasket itself behind the cover plate, and other times they just use silicone. And then there's some silicone down here at the bottom, which I'm just gonna reseal. So if you do have a rear main seal leak, chances are you're gonna start seeing oil kind of piling up at the bottom of the transmission. But you have to really take a good look, because with certain cars, like BMWs especially, the back of the oil pan leaks and it makes you think it's a rear main seal, but really just the oil pan leaking down. So something to just keep in mind. But with Toyotas, I've found a lot ends up just being the rear main seal, but something that's kind of difficult to tell, because a lot of times you can't tell until you actually have the transmission and the flywheel off. And real quick, before we get started with this video, I ended up sending out my old flywheel to get resurfaced, and look at how good of a job they did. I'm surprised they were able to save it with all those hot spots. I did order a new one too, since they're so cheap, but I'll probably just throw this one on and keep the new one as backup. But anyways, let's get started. First step, drain the engine oil. Alright, so after you got the oil drained, go ahead and just pop off these cover plate bolts, and then I'm going to shove a screwdriver in the back and pop this plate off. Alright, so I went ahead and popped off the rear main seal plate. See right here, seal is still with it. One thing I forgot to mention, check the oil pan too, because sometimes there's bolts in the bottom going through to the plate, so make sure you take those off first, and then you should be good to just pretty much just pry it off. So now you got to clean up this residual silicone, as well as right here along the oil pan, and clean up the cover plate, pop out this old seal, and we'll go from there. So let's get started cleaning up a little bit and we'll continue. Alright, so we got the plate all cleaned up, as well as the top side of the oil pan. A little bit tight, trying to show you guys. Definitely don't skip out when you're cleaning it. Take your time, make sure you have a real nice clean surface, because if not, the silicone is not going to stick if you're using that, or the gasket's not going to seal properly. This one does come with the gasket, and I said I was going to use it, but I changed my mind. I'm actually going to go with silicone. I feel like I just feel better about putting silicone than using this gasket. So now that that's all cleaned up, got the cover plate over here. The rear main seal was in here. I literally just put a screwdriver in the back, slammed it on the ground till it popped out. Luckily on this one, it has stoppers, so the rear main can only go in so far. Certain cars, they don't have these stoppers, so it's possible to push the seal too far in, and you're kind of screwed at that point. So that kind of sucks. So we're going to install the seal after we put this cover plate on. I'm just going to lay some silicone bead around this backside and the bottom, and bring it back over here and bolt it up together. It's nice to lay a little bead right here too in the corners and along the bottom, just to make sure it seals really good. Alright, so we have the cover plate right here. As you guys can see, not really too much, just a slim little bead is all you need. Let's go ahead and pop it on, put the screws in. Alright, I didn't tighten them all the way. Before you snug them, feed the bottom two from the bottom of the oil pan in and tighten those down first, and then go ahead and tighten the rest of them. Alright, well the plate is on now. See, a little bit caked out. I usually just leave the excess. Some people like to smear it to make it look nice and smooth, but really it doesn't matter too much. So now we're just gonna pretty much let that dry for like 24 hours, but in the meantime, just pop in this rear main seal, and that'll be the final step of this job. So like I said earlier, this one we're lucky it has a stopper one, because I've had times before where I pushed it in too far and the seal is pretty much ruined. You can't pull the seal back out once you put it in. So good thing this one has stoppers. I'm just going to put some grease or silicone around the new seal, all around the inside and the outside. And then they make special tools where you can, it's like a cylinder kind of, perfectly meant to push the rear main seal in. But what I usually just do is just get a 3/8 extension and a small hammer, kind of tap it around gently. Make sure you're going evenly too, and that works just fine. So, little old tech tip learned from a veteran Toyota tech. So yeah, let's just get this thing greased up and put it in. Alright, just like that. This one went in nice and easy, gave me no problems. Sometimes you'll end up fighting it, like you'll push one side in, the other side pops out. It gets a little frustrating, but just be patient with it. Like I said, you don't want to damage the seal and you don't want to push it in too far. Just end up ruining that seal, but that's pretty much it for this rear main seal job, guys. You guys can see it's on there, nice and clean. Hopefully we have no more leaks. I'm gonna let the silicone dry for at least a day or two before oil gets back in it, because I still need to install the pressure plate and the flywheel and the clutch and all that. Get ready for this drift event. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free, drop a comment below. So that pretty much sums up, replacing a rear main seal. Pretty much all rear-wheel drive vehicles based like this are going to be somewhat of a similar technique to get to it. Like I said, they might have the cover plate, they might not, but the process to attack it is pretty much the same. So hopefully this video can help you in replacing your rear main seal oil leak. But that's all I got for this episode, guys. Yeah, hopefully we get this car ready before the drift event coming up this weekend. So that's it. Catch you guys later. Peace!
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told her